What's good, everybody? Hope all is well. It's a Friday. About, I don't know, almost a week since the Fiesta Bowl. I purposely waited a few days before I made the video for my own sanity and for everybody else's sanity. A lot of upset folk out there still, understandable. I'm still not happy either. However, I've processed, I've rewatched, I've thought about it, I've considered a lot of things and wanted to talk about the game. I'm not going to spend too much time on it, but I'm also going to talk about next season. I posted the schedule yesterday, got a ton of responses about the schedule and the outlook of the team. I know it's tough moving on, but listen, man, we're gonna be dope again next year. I'm very, very excited. I follow recruiting, so I know what we have, and so I'm gonna touch on that a little bit as well. But I'm gonna get right into it. So with the Clemson game, listen. First thing, Buckeye Nation, you have to realize that we are one of the most hated programs, if not most hated programs in the country. There's a few reasons for that. Number one, I know that we're the largest fan base in the country. New York Times did a study a few years ago of who the largest fan base in the country is, and they came up with Ohio State off their metrics and their numbers and whatnot. You know, we travel well, we're just entrenched, we're everywhere. So, we can be obnoxious if we're everywhere, and it's OHIO wherever you go. We show up heavy. We're deep, and we're always in the national scene. But like Herb Street said, we have the 2% fans that are obnoxious and crazy. Every fan base has obnoxious and crazy fans. We just happen to be the largest fan base, so I feel like that's going to be magnified more. And we do have some idiot fans, just like every fan base, but we also have some great fans. So we're just hated. Our Big Ten rivals, they're jealous. They hate our success. They root for other teams to beat us because they can't. You know who you are. So I'm saying that to say there's going to be very little sympathy from our rivals, even if something is blatantly wrong, like a call in the Clemson game. So, but here's the deal though. One thing that's eye-opening is if you looked on Twitter, if you looked on social media during the game and after the game, you were seeing outrage from all types of different people who aren't Ohio State fans, who aren't Big Ten people, who are just, oh my God, this is crazy, ridiculous, these calls. So that's kind of a sign that, hey, we're not just crying and whining over the refs. Nah, like those were significant impact plays that were like, like, what are you doing? Like, that's not that type of stuff. So let me hit it. Too many people are saying that, well, you should have just scored in the red zone and that's why you lost, and basically it's an either or situation. To me, it's not an either or situation. To me, it can be both, and it is both. Yes, we did not capitalize in the red zone like we should have. Dobbins dropped a wide open screen pass that was surely a TD. He didn't cradle that catch. That was another TD. Those are lack of execution errors by a great player in J.K. Dobbins. But then after the game, going back seeing footage and in Twitter videos of certain plays, man, there was a couple times KJ Hill was knocked over by the defender during the play while he's running his route, no call. He was also running, had 2 steps on his man in the back of the end zone. This is in the red zone when we were supposed to score, and the defender is pulling his jersey the whole time, no call. So it's just blatant stuff like that is just very frustrating to me. Listen, you'd be hard pressed to find many posts on my page complaining about the refs, even when we were jobbed or whatever. But this was bad. I don't care what you say, what nobody say. It was bad. It was significantly bad, and it wasn't just a bad call like let's just say there's 50-50 bang bang plays, right? Like a pass interference that's close and you're like, that's tough. I don't like it, but it's tough. Or a spot where it's like, the JT spot. Michigan fans love to cry about that and they even try to compare this to that. Like, oh, you want to complain about refs now? That's not even close to the same. Stop it. That was extremely close, and it was called a first down on the field. And that was not an outrageous, oh my God, we got robbed. No, you didn't. So anyway, everyone saw that receiver, I think it was Higgins, I'm not sure if it was Higgins, take 3.5 steps with that ball secured in his hand. It was called a catch on the field. It has to be indisputable evidence to overturn it. That's a ridiculous call, a game-changing call. It took 6 points off the board. We lost by 6 points. So, yes, red zone issues. We shot ourselves in the foot. We did not execute like we should have. We were only up 16-0. And then the impact calls from the ref, and then throwing Sean Wade out here's the thing. You can say that the letter of the law says they have to throw him out because there was helmet-to-helmet contact, and he dropped his head a little. Here's the thing. Let's use common sense in this rule. We all seen Trevor Lawrence drop his head. He's 6'6". Sean Wade is 6'1", 6 foot. He clearly dropped his head, which changed the strike zone. There has to be common sense in this rule. It was not a malicious, launching attempt to spear Trevor Lawrence. There has to be a reevaluation of this rule. Not only did that kill momentum that we had, we were controlling the game, dominating them. It flipped momentum, and it took away a potentially first-round DB off our team. So it was a combination of Ohio State shooting themselves in the foot and some really bad, impactful, game-changing, momentum-changing calls, replay decisions by the ref. So, yeah, not good at all. And it all matters. You just can't say it doesn't matter. It does. So with that said, it was a tough loss. The way it ended, even with all those things in place, we still had a chance to win the game. And one thing I want to touch on that's annoying to me, I'm not saying you have to have played football to really understand football, because that's not true. You can study the game and get a really good understanding of how things work, and how to break things down and have a basic understanding. But listen, you cannot blame Justin Fields for that interception. I played receiver when I played. I played receiver and I played safety. Okay? Actually, that's the two positions that were involved in that play. And I think a guy named Ted Nguyen on Twitter posted an overhead view of the last play. It was the perfect call. It was the perfect matchups. It was pretty identical to the last touchdown that Olave caught in the same route. And Justin Fields steps up in the pocket and fires the ball to lead Olave on that post route like he's supposed to. Okay? Anybody who knows the basics of throwing and catching the ball, there are certain routes that are timing routes. There's certain routes that you have to lead the receiver as soon as he breaks to create separation from the defender. That's pretty simple. That's 101. I had some people on my page just killing Justin Fields. Oh, well, he blew it. Huh? Like, what are you talking about? Go look at the play again. Olave broke off his route. He explained why. I'm not killing Olave. He's a great player. He made a mistake. But if he doesn't break off his route, that's a touchdown. At the very minimum, it's a pass interference or an incomplete pass. And we still have 30 seconds left with the clock stopped. And we're at the 23. But if you look at the overhead view, it was a great call. And we had the matchup we wanted with Olave. The same matchup as before. And he was open. He broke off his route. So that just makes it even more sickening that we still had a chance to win that game despite all the obstacles and hurdles and literally nothing going our way as far as from a call standpoint. I didn't even mention Chase Young, being held and hands to the face on that play with Trevor Lawrence, and it was just so many things that were missed from a call standpoint that it was so much to overcome. I've heard pundits say, well, you just need to overcome it. Nah, man, like, no, that's way too much to overcome. Like, regardless, going forward, it needs to be looked at. The targeting rule needs to be tweaked. And listen, I would say this, I'm saying this regardless of what happened to us, because this has been an issue even before this game. That rule needs to be tweaked. It needs to be examined and reevaluated. And then, you know, the replay process needs to be tweaked. Like, that was a horrible overturn for that fumble and recovery. And for you idiots out there, I'm sorry, I usually don't call names, but you don't have to tuck the ball for it to be a complete pass. Like, I don't know why people keep saying this. You don't have to tuck the ball away. You have to control the ball. You literally could run downfield with the ball in your hand like this for 50 yards, and it's a complete pass. You don't have to tuck it away. What are you talking about? The dude took 3.5 steps with full control of the ball. It was a catch. It's ridiculous, man. It's ridiculous. Even if it wasn't our game, I hate bad calls. I hate stuff like that. I still would have been upset. Not as upset as it happened to my team, but still upset because I just hate to see it. So, with that said, I think LSU wins. I think Clemson, I don't think they're going to be able to stop LSU's offense. I think they'll score because I'm not convinced LSU's defense is improved after beating Texas A&M and who else they play at the end of the year that was bad? Ole Miss? Somebody. Not Ole Miss. Somebody. But anyway, I got LSU winning the title. So, sad, man. Heartbreaking. This team, they had it, man. They had it. We had everything set up. And to end like that is heartbreaking for Buckeye Nation, man, and it sucks. However, we have a great team coming back next year. We got a ton of talent. Our quarterback was a first-year starter this year. He's only going to get better this year. I will say this, though, and I'll get right into the roster next season. It's a few positions that I'm a little concerned about. I'm going to start on offense. Now, here's the thing. I like Master Teague a lot. He's a good back. This was his first year playing. He did some really good things. He hit a little wall towards the end of the season. You know, he hit a wall. He wasn't producing as much, and that tends to happen. So I'm not writing Master Teague off. However, I do not believe he is. I'm not quite convinced that he is the number one called, the number one superstar, dynamic, hold it down like J.K. Dobbins back. Not just yet. The thing is, though, with our offense, if you see the plays we run, the type of running plays we run, how they're designed, they're perfect for a running back like J.K. Dobbins. Who's elusive, who can find a hole, cut back, make a guy miss on the second level and take it to the house. And I'm not convinced that Master Teague is that back, or if he will be that back. Now, I believe that he will be a major contributor, regardless if he is not that guy. But I still feel like we need someone to step up, either Marcus Crowley, who was the Gatorade Player of the Year in the state of Florida as a senior in high school. He was a freshman this past season. He banged his knee up, though. Don't know how serious that is. But I think he has the highest ceiling for next season currently on the roster to step up. He's a little more elusive than Master Teague. He's not a burner. Master Teague may have more straight line speed, but I think Crowley's the better overall back potentially. Also, there's a kid named Jahmyr Gibbs out of Georgia. I've been watching his recruitment very closely. Very dynamic. He's a tough physical runner, great burst, really good speed, elusive. He's got offers from just about everybody. And we're in a really, really good position to land him. He's committed to Georgia Tech. He's from Georgia. He likes the idea of staying home, but at the same time, he's exploring his options with these bigger programs coming in a little late to recruit him. I'm just wondering, with JK leaving, and the fact that no one on our roster right now currently has his skill set, that maybe him and his family will view it as a business decision to leave Georgia and come to Ohio State. If he does that, I feel like he can make an impact next season. He may not start the first game, but he will be in a rotation, and he will help us down the stretch and could be that difference maker in the offense to kind of tandem with Master Teague or Crowley or whoever. So keep your eyes on that. So offensive line I feel great about with our interior linemen coming back, Thayer Mumford coming back. I feel like Nicholas Petit-Frere, the right tackle, will finally be able to step in and do some things. And I like our depth there. Receiver wise, for those who don't follow recruiting, we got some outstanding receivers coming in, 4 and 5 star guys led by names like Julian Fleming, who's an absolute monster, #1 receiver in the country. Please go watch his film if you haven't. He will be an instant impact guy, like a Garrett Wilson. He's a big body guy, good speed, physical, catches everything. Receiver wise, we're going to be outstanding. Jackson Nigba, I always mess his name up. He is great. Our receivers, Mookie Cooper, slot receiver, thick, speedy, quick guy coming in. G. Scott, another great receiver, physical, 50-50 ball type of guy. And not to mention, we still got Olave and Garrett Wilson, as I mentioned before. And we have a few other receivers. C.J. Saunders may come back. The point is, we're gonna be deep on offense. Now, defensively, Sean Wade announces tomorrow, Saturday, January 4th. He announces in his hometown. I've been kind of going back and forth about this. My logic is, why would you make an announcement to say, yeah, I'm leaving, when you could just do that on Twitter like everybody else? So I've been going back and forth about this. There's been some smoke, like maybe he's staying. Some people on the team feel like he's staying. It's been smoke on both sides. I don't know how to read it right now. But here's the logic, though. If he leaves, sure, he could, late first round, early second, unless he just kills it in the combine and the team just falls in love with him. Or he could come back and assume the role of a Jeffrey Okudah, #1 lockdown corner, prove it on the field the whole season, and work his way into a surefire, bona fide top 5 pick. I mean, the amount of money difference, it could be significant, and maybe his family is looking at it that way to take the gamble on himself to really, get himself up in the upper echelon of the draft status. I hope that's the case, because if it is, that is fantastic news for us. Because if that's the case, it'll be him. And to me, my hands-on pick for the opposite starting corner is Sevyn Banks. I think Sevyn Banks is going to start next year. I think guys will challenge him, but I think he's going to be the starting corner opposite Wade if he comes back. Proctor will be the starting safety to replace Fuller, most likely, I would think. Especially if we keep that single high safety look we've been running, which I don't see us not changing. Linebacker wise, Baron Browning, Tuff Borland, Pete Werner all return. We lose Malik Harrison, obviously. Don't forget, we have Taraja Mitchell, #7, back. We have Dallas Gant. We have some depth there. So, I think our linebacker corps overall could be potentially even better. We're going to add some speed and more physicality, depth-wise, with those guys being a year older. So, defensive line, Zach Harrison, I expect him to take another leap, to elite status. I mean, he got a lot of tick this year. I did not expect him to play this much this year, but injuries and Chase Young suspension, all that stuff, man. Tyree Smith has to have a great offseason. He was cool this year. He made some plays, but he was just cool. The potential is high. He wants to be the next Chase Young as far as impact. He's going to really have to work this offseason, not only in the weight room, but just working on them hands with Coach Johnson. Whatever they do. I want a D lineman. So I mean, we got some guys, man. A defensive tackle, we're still deep. Haskell Garrett and the other names I'm drawing a blank right now for the D tackle depth, but we got depth there, and I'll come later with those names, but I'm just drawing a blank right now. But we got some guys, man. We got a great class coming in. We have depth, we have talent, but as I mentioned, to me, Gibbs is a key acquisition if we can get him, just to add to this running back room, or we need somebody to really step up, because to me, that can be the difference maker in getting us over the hump in a playoff situation, being dynamic from the backfield to take pressure off of Justin Fields. So, schedule next year. Schedule. And I'm gonna end it out with this. I posted the schedule yesterday. I got a lot of different responses, mixed in with some trolls, some obvious trolls from other schools, talking about how the schedule's weak and whatnot. First of all, you're not gonna find too many schedules that have more than one big, Power 5 opponent. We're at Oregon. We're not, we're not playing freaking Dumpwater Tech as our main out-conference, opponent. Like, we're at Oregon. Yeah, we got some MAC schools in there. There's always going to be MAC schools on the non-conference. But if you look in the Big Ten, we have to go to Michigan State and at Penn State. I'm not too crazy about Michigan State, but at Penn State is going to be tough. We got to go to Illinois before we play the team up north at home. What else? We got Nebraska. Don't know how good they're going to improve. The Big Ten, is a tough physical conference. We have to be ready. We got Iowa. We got them at the crib, though. Obviously, that's a revenge game. But listen, non-conference, we're at Oregon. They're probably going to be, I don't know if they're going to be top 15. They're going to be ranked, though, coming in next year. I'm pretty sure of that. So that's an opportunity to take advantage of a young team in Oregon who will lose Justin Herbert, lose a lot of their offense, I believe. They lose a lot. I got to go back and see exactly what they lose, but I know they lose a lot. And to take advantage of that big road win and just handle business in conference, man. And I look for us to be right back in the playoff hunt. But yeah, it's tough, man. Waiting a whole nother year to get it back going again. It's frustrating. I'm still upset, still angry. But I'm moving on. I'm dealing with it. It is what it is. It's over. But it's just funny, man, how rival fan bases want to run their mouth. Your team can't beat us. Your team has not beat us, but yet you want to, like I say, D-ride and ball hold other teams like Clemson because yours can't. It's just like, come on, man. Like, is there no shame? Like, there's no shame in that? Shameful. But if that's all you got, I get it. I understand. You got to do what you got to do to help yourself sleep better at night. So, fire some questions at me, man. You got any questions about recruiting? You got any questions about my opinions on next season? Coaches. Speaking of coaches, Kerry Combs, most on the inside believe he is the next DB coach. And the reason why there's, nothing coming out is because everything is locked down with the NFL in the playoffs. So basically the fact that we haven't heard any rumors about different candidates is probably proof that he is coming. And I think that's a great thing. I'm curious to see how he transitions to the co-defensive coordinator role. Maybe being up in the booth, looking down, making adjustments. Hafley was outstanding at that. Not sure what Kerry Combs brings to that yet. I know he's a great recruiter, great coach, but I am a little hesitant about that aspect of it. But I'm willing to take the chance on him being really good in that role. And I like the Corey Dennis hire from within. Makes a lot of sense. So anyway, listen, man, we blessed. We got a blessed program. Buckeye Nation, man, like, no matter how much they hate on us, whatever, they love to hate on us. Most of them teams, 98% of them teams, wish they had our success. And I'm looking at you, scum fans. I'm looking at you. So it's all good. Fire any questions at me. Let me know. I would love to respond or react to whatever you got to ask. And y'all have a good weekend. Go Bucks.